There is a people in the heart of Africa that hunts one of the most lethal snakes on the planet. With their hands, no gloves, no equipment, no antidote. The Egyptian Cobra can kill a human being in 15 minutes. A single bite injects enough venom to bring down an animal weighing 200 kilos, and yet the Hadzabe go after it. On purpose. Not for sport, not for adrenaline, for the day's meal. This is the reality of one of the last hunter-gatherer peoples on Earth. Northern Tanzania holds one of the most brutal landscapes on the African continent. The Lake Eyasi basin stretches across the floor of the Great Rift Valley, surrounded by rocky hills, dry savannas, and thorny acacia forests. The temperature exceeds 35 degrees during the day. The ground is dust, the air is dry, and the vegetation seems hostile to any human presence. It is here, at this exact point on the map, between the Serengeti and the Ngorongoro crater, where a people lives that defies all modern logic. The Hadzabe. Fewer than 1,300 people. No government, no hierarchy, no money, no calendar, no clock. Their time is measured by the sun, and survival is decided every dawn. Pay attention to this part. The Hadzabe do not plant crops. They do not raise animals. They do not store food. Every day starts from zero. If they do not hunt, they do not eat. If they do not gather, they go hungry. There is no refrigerator, there is no reserve, there is no plan B. It has been this way for more than 10,000 years, without interruption. While the rest of humanity invented agriculture, built cities, and developed technology, this people remained exactly as they were. Not out of ignorance, not out of inability, by choice. The Hadzabe chose absolute freedom, and they pay for it every single day. And this is where it gets interesting. The Hadzabe do not hunt with rifles. They do not use mechanical traps. They have no vehicles. Their weapon is a handmade bow crafted from savanna wood. The string is giraffe or impala tendon. The arrows are assembled with cold-forged metal tips made from old nails hammered against stones, and the most impressive detail is the black substance stuck just below the tip, poison. Extracted from the desert rose, a plant called Adenium obesum, which grows in only a few spots around Lake Eyasi. The men travel to an island on the southeastern shore of the dry lake to collect this plant. An expedition that can last an entire day. They cut the thick branches from the bulbous trunk with smooth bark. They extract the milky sap. Some pound the pulp with the back of the axe until it becomes a paste. Then they boil everything until the water evaporates. What remains is a black, sticky substance. That is the panjuko, as they call it in the Hadzane language. This poison contains cardiac glycosides. When it enters the bloodstream, it paralyzes the heart. The prey begins to drool, then it vomits, then it staggers, and then it falls. The draw weight of the Hadzabe bow equals 70% of the archer's body weight. The arrow travels at more than 45 meters per second. It is a silent and lethal weapon, developed over thousands of years. But wait, there is something nobody talks about. That same technology that brings down antelopes and zebras is also used against one of the most dangerous predators in the African bush, the Egyptian Cobra, Naja Haje, a snake that can reach 2.5 meters in length, one of the largest and most venomous on the entire continent. Its venom is neurotoxic. It attacks the nervous system directly. It blocks the transmission of signals between nerves and muscles. First comes the pain, then the swelling, then the paralysis. Without treatment, breathing simply stops, and the heart stops with it. Now imagine the scene. The sun has not fully risen yet. The savanna is in shades of grey and orange. A group of 3 or 4 Hadzabe men leaves the camp in silence, barefoot. Each one carries his bow, a handful of arrows, and a stick for making fire by friction. No backpack, no water bottle, no map. They know every rock, every tree, every track in that territory since childhood. The entire landscape is their supermarket, their pharmacy, and their school, all at the same time. And there is more. The Egyptian cobra is a nocturnal hunter. It goes out at night searching for toads, lizards, and rodents. When daylight begins to break, it seeks shelter, holes in the ground, abandoned termite mounds, cracks between rocks. It is exactly at that moment of transition when the Hadzabe act, when the snake is returning to its hiding place, when it is slower, when it is most vulnerable but still mortally dangerous. One wrong move and the bite comes, fast, precise, and potentially fatal. What comes next changes everything. The technique is not improvised. It is passed down from generation to generation. The most experienced hunter goes in front. He identifies the trail in the sand, a sinuous mark, wide, unmistakable. He follows the track with his eyes on the ground and his feet in absolute silence. When he spots the snake, he freezes. He raises his hand. The others stop. Communication happens through minimal gestures, no words, no sound. The heart rate accelerates, but the body does not move. The distance between the man and the snake can be less than 3 meters. Now comes the part that few people know. The Egyptian cobra, when it feels threatened, raises the front third of its body. It spreads its hood, that lateral expansion of the neck that is the trademark of every Naja cobra. It hisses, loud, clear. It is a warning. It is a declaration of war. Some cobras play dead to deceive the predator. Others go straight for the attack. The Hadzabe hunter does not back down. He waits. He reads the snake. He understands its behavior like someone reading a text. He knows exactly when it will strike and when it is bluffing. That knowledge does not come from books. It comes from 1,000 generations living in the same bush. And this is where precision decides everything. The bow rises slowly. The arrow is positioned. The poisoned tip gleams under the faint morning light. The hunter pulls the string close to his face. The force in his arms is brutal. Scientific studies measured the power of Hadzabe bows. The average draw force is 311 newtons. That equals more than 30 kilos of pressure. 70% of the archer's body weight concentrated in a single movement. The aim is instinctive. There is no sight. There is no conscious calculation. It is pure instinct refined by decades of daily practice. From childhood, the Hadzabe practices on natural targets, lizards, small birds, bush mice. Every shot builds the muscle memory that will one day make the difference when facing a cobra. The bowstring is made of giraffe or impala tendon, twisted and sun-dried until it reaches the necessary resistance. The entire bow is a work of ancestral engineering. Researchers recorded that the Hadzabe arrow reaches 45 meters per second and transfers more than 70% of the energy stored in the string to the projectile, numbers that impress any physicist. And then the shot. The arrow crosses the air, silent. If it hits, the snake reacts violently. It writhes. It tries to flee. The poison on the arrow tip begins to take effect. The cardiac glycosides enter the animal's bloodstream. The cobra's heart slows down. Its movements become erratic. In a few minutes, the snake stops. But the hunt is not over. The danger continues even after death. A cobra's head can bite by reflex up to an hour after being separated from the body. The Hadzabe know this. The first thing they do is separate the head with a precise axe blow. They bury the head in the ground, far from the camp, far from the children. Only after that is the snake considered safe to handle. The next fact will surprise you. The preparation of the meal begins right there, in the bush. The Hadzabe do not take the prey home. They eat on the spot. It is a cultural rule. Small game is consumed immediately. Only large prey like antelopes and buffalo are taken back to camp for collective sharing. For the snake, the ritual is simple and direct. One of the men lights a fire using the manual friction technique, 2 pieces of wood. One softer from the commiphora tree, the other harder, the stick they always carry alongside their arrows. The hunter spins the stick between his palms, pressing against the base. The speed is constant. The pressure too. In less than 2 minutes, an ember appears. A handful of dry grass becomes the nest for the ember, a breath, then another, and the flame is born. This happens for real, without matches, without a lighter, without any modern resource. Fire made with bare hands, like 10,000 years ago, and it is that fire that will prepare the meal. The snake is placed directly over the flames. The skin burns first, it darkens, it contracts, the smell spreads across the savannah. There is no pot, there is no grill, there is no seasoning. The meat roasts directly in the fire. When the skin begins to peel away, the men turn the snake with twigs. The process takes a few minutes. The meat ends up firm on the outside and tender on the inside. Think about what that means. These men hunted one of the most venomous snakes in the world. With bow and arrow, they made fire with their hands, and they are cooking the prey on the same ground where they captured it. No table, no plate, no utensils. The meat is torn with teeth and cut with a knife forged from recycled metal. Every piece is shared. Nobody eats alone. Nobody eats first. The division is equal. It is one. Of the most sacred rules of Hadzabe culture, everything that is hunted belongs to everyone present at that moment. It does not matter who shot the arrow. And there is something even more impressive behind all of this. The desert rose poison that kills the prey does not contaminate the meat. Cardiac glycosides are only dangerous when they enter the bloodstream directly. Through the digestive tract, they are neutralized. The Hadzabe know this, not through scientific study, through experience accumulated over millennia. They tried, they made mistakes, they learned, and they passed that knowledge forward, from father to son, from grandfather to grandson. Without writing a single word, their language, Hadzabe, is completely oral. There is no written form. Everything is memory, everything is practice, everything is lived experience. Now that you understand this, let us move to something even more impressive. The Hadzabe digestive system is considered one of the most diverse on the planet. Researchers from universities like Duke in the United States studied the gut flora of this people and found a variety of bacteria that simply does not exist in industrialized populations. That diversity comes exactly from what they eat. Wild meat, tubers roasted on embers, baobab fruits, wild honey, and yes, snakes. The diet is not limited by preference. It is dictated by availability. They eat what the land offers, without filter, without restriction, and the body responds. The cardiovascular health of the Hadzabe is excellent. The incidence of diabetes is practically zero. Obesity does not exist. Chronic inflammatory diseases are rare. But to understand what comes next, you need to know one thing. The Hadzabe work an average of 5 hours per day. 5 hours of hunting, 5 hours of gathering. After that, the rest is free time. Rest, conversations around the fire, arrow, making, bow repair, childcare, no stress, no deadlines, no pressure. A study conducted by Professor Herman Pontzer from Duke University revealed something that challenged modern science. The Hadzabe, despite being physically much more active than any person in an office, burn practically the same amount of calories per day. Their body adapted. It became brutally efficient. It burns less energy on inflammatory processes, less energy on chronic stress, less energy fighting the effects of artificial food. It is what researchers called the exercise paradox, a discovery that forced science to rethink everything it believed about human metabolism. And that is exactly what makes this scene so powerful. A man sitting on the savannah floor, eating snake meat roasted over fire, surrounded by thorny acacias and dust, shirtless, shoeless, with a bow resting on his shoulder and a handful of arrows in his hand. That man is not surviving. He is living in the way that human beings lived for 99% of our species' existence. Agriculture is 10,000 years old. The Industrial Revolution is 250. The smartphone is less than 20. But the bow and arrow, the campfire, and the sharing of food among equals, that is hundreds of thousands of years old. The Hadzabe are not a people of the past. They are a mirror of what we were, and perhaps of what we lost. What few people know is that this way of life is threatened. Hadzabe territory has shrunk drastically in recent decades. Pastoralist peoples like the Datoga and the Maasai have advanced onto traditional lands. Ranches were opened, dirt roads cut through the bush. Tourism brought visitors, but it also brought dependency. Some young Hadzabe already speak Swahili as a second language. Some have already seen cell phones. Some have already tasted soft drinks. The pressure of the modern world does not come as an invasion. It comes as infiltration, slow, continuous, silent. And the most disturbing part is that there is no clear plan to protect what remains. That explains a lot. But it does not explain the main thing. Why do they continue? Why do they not accept resettlement offers? Why do they not abandon hunting and gathering for a supposedly easier life? The answer lies in something that cannot be measured in numbers. Freedom. The Hadzabe wake when the sun rises. They sleep when the sun sets. They answer to no one. They owe nothing to anyone. They pay no taxes. They follow no schedules. They take no orders. If a group enters into conflict, there is no court. One side simply separates and goes to another camp. Without resentment, without revenge, without bureaucracy. It is the purest form of autonomy that exists on the planet today. And the snake they just ate is part of that. Every meal is a reaffirmation. Every hunt is a declaration. Every fire lit with bare hands is proof that this way of life works. It has worked for longer than any civilization, any empire, any political system that humanity has ever created. The Hadzabe are not trying to prove anything to anyone. They simply exist in the way they have always existed. The Egyptian cobra is one of the most feared snakes in Africa, depicted on the crowns of the pharaohs of ancient Egypt, associated with the legend of Cleopatra, who, according to the oldest sources, chose this snake as the instrument of her own death. Revered and feared for millennia across the entire north and east of the continent. A creature that can measure more than 2.5 meters, with venom capable of killing an adult in less than an hour. The average amount of venom injected in a single bite ranges between 175 and 300 milligrams. That is enough to bring down several human beings at once. The venom first attacks the peripheral nerves, then it blocks communication with the lungs. The victim simply stops breathing. And for the Hadzabe, that creature is food, protein, energy for the next day. Nothing more, nothing less. That perspective says more about the human condition than any philosophy book. For the modern world, the cobra is absolute danger. A threat that demands anti-venom, a hospital and an ambulance. For the Hadzabe, it is sustenance, it is lunch. The difference between those two visions is the abyss that separates someone who lives within nature from someone who lives completely apart from it. Now pay attention to what is about to be said. The Hadzabe speak a language that science considers isolate. Hadzabe has no proven relationship with any other living language, none. It is a click language. Sounds produced by the snap of the tongue against the palate, the teeth, and the roof of the mouth. Each click has a meaning. Each combination forms a word. UNESCO classifies Hadzabe as vulnerable. Not in immediate danger of extinction, but restricted to increasingly limited contexts. The children still learn it, the elders still speak it. But the window is closing. And when a language dies, it is not just a language that disappears. It is an entire way of understanding the world, a way of naming the wind, the rain, the trail of the snake in the sand. Return to that scene. The men have finished eating, the fire is low, only embers, the snake's fat is rubbed on the skin as moisturizer, the bones are tossed into the bush. Nothing is wasted, nothing remains except ashes. One of the men cleans the arrow tip. Another stores the remaining poison in a ball of black resin that fits in the palm of the hand, ready for the next hunt. They stand up, they look around, they listen to the sounds of the savannah, a bird, the wind in the acacias, the silence, and they keep walking, barefoot, without hurry, without a fixed destination, just following what the land offers. Lake Eyasi shimmers in the distance. When it rains, it is a shallow alkaline mirror that attracts flamingos and pelicans. When it dries, it becomes a white salt flat that looks like another planet. At 1,000 meters of altitude, at the bottom of the Great Rift Valley, this is one of the oldest settings of human presence on Earth. Olduvai Gorge, where fossils of the first hominids were found, is just a few kilometers away. When the Hadzabe walk across that terrain, they are literally stepping on the cradle of humanity, and doing it in the same way the first human beings did. The Hadzabe live in groups of approximately 20 to 30 people, without a leader, without a chief, without a power structure. Decisions are made by consensus. Resources are divided equally. The women gather tubers, fruits, and honey. They recognize more than 50 species of edible plants. They know exactly where to dig to find roots at 30 to 50 centimeters deep. They can identify by sound whether the ground is hollow, indicating a tuber hidden beneath. That skill takes years to master, and it is as vital as the men's hunting. Could you last 1 week without a roof, without prepared food, without running water, without electricity, without medicine? Most of us would not last 2 days. The Hadzabe do it their entire lives, every single day, without exception, from birth. Children learn to aim with a bow at 4 or 5 years old. By 10, they already accompany their fathers on the hunt. By 15, they are fully formed hunters. There is no school, there is no teacher. The forest is the classroom, and the snake on the fire is the lesson, and it is exactly that contrast that needs to be seen. On one side, the world we built. Supermarkets open 24 hours. Delivery, apps, ultra-processed food, anxiety, depression, insomnia, obesity. On the other side, a barefoot man on the savannah who just hunted a cobra with a bow made of wood and animal tendon, who made fire with his hands, who ate sitting on the earth, and who will sleep under the stars without a single thought about the next day. Because tomorrow, he does it again, like he did yesterday, like he did last month, like they have done for millennia. This is not a comparison meant to romanticize poverty. It is a fact, an observable datum. The Hadzabe do not consider themselves poor. They do not consider themselves backward. They do not ask for help. They do not want imposed changes. When the government of Tanzania tried to resettle them, offering houses and schools, most simply returned to the bush. The children did not understand why they should sit in a classroom when they could be learning to track animals. The men saw no sense in working for someone else when they could hunt for themselves. Freedom is not an abstract concept for the Hadzabe. It is the foundation of everything they do, and that is what makes this scene so hard to forget. A fire dying out on the savannah, snake bones scattered in the dust, smoke rising in the hot morning air, and men walking into the distance as if nothing extraordinary had happened, because for them, it had not. This is just another day, another meal, another proof that the oldest way of living still works. The sun is now high, the heat is brutal, dust rises with every step. The Hadzabe disappear among the acacias. They carry with them the bow, the arrows, the fire stick, and the knowledge of 10,000 years. They carry no backpacks. They carry no maps. They carry no regrets. Everything they own fits in a bundle carried on the shoulder. An axe, a pot, a knife, some arrows, and the certainty that tomorrow the land will offer again what it offered today. That certainty is not blind faith. It is experience accumulated by hundreds of generations who walked this same ground and survived. No civilization has lasted this long without radically changing. No economic system has remained stable for so many millennia. No form of government has stayed intact for more than a few centuries. But the Hadzabe continue, making fire with their hands, hunting with a poisoned bow, sharing food among equals, sleeping under the stars. Some ways of existing need no explanation. They need no justification. They need no approval. They exist because they work. And they continue to exist because someone refuses to abandon them. While the rest of the world chases something it cannot define, the Hadzabe have already found it. And it is so simple that it fits in a meal of roasted snake around the fire.